Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. Trust me, it is not rocket science. Let us talk about this business of trusting God. What does it mean? Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." Sometimes we get in the way of really understanding and doing what God desires for our lives. Who is being asked to trust God with all their hearts? We live in a society that has us signing up for school from as early as 2 to 3 years old. We learn the alphabet, we learn numbers and various ways to manipulate numbers. We learn science, some parts of which are suspect. We learn all kinds of things. But along the way, we are being groomed to take our places in society and we are being taught to make a living. So why do we need to trust God, or who should trust God? In a sense, if you do well in school and go to college and study along professional lines and you come into the world and do well, why do you need to trust God? Trust your ability to learn and to apply what you learn. That is a secret to success. Or there is a person who might not have gone to college but who is skilled in some craft or another. Sports, mechanics, automobiles, farming, whatever. But this guy uses his God-given acumen and he makes it. So why does he need to trust in the Lord? Some of us might suggest that it is only the person who is prone to fail, the person who does not show potentials, the person who does not have resources. That is the guy who needs to trust in the Lord. He needs divine help because otherwise he's not going to make it. Let us think about what this text is saying. First, we need to understand that we entered into a world that owes us nothing and is sometimes downright hostile to each of us. We face difficulties, hardships, sicknesses, crimes, hurts, you name it, and these things come our way very often unexpectedly. God, who knows all things, asks us to trust him totally. Abraham, when he had the old-fashioned name of Abram, was doing well in his life when he had a visit from God. The message was simple: trust me for your future and I will not disappoint. Get up and go in search of land that God is going to give you. Just like that? That is scary. That is downright risky. When God told him of descendants, how can you be telling me about descendants when my wife is infertile? But Abraham took a simple approach. He put his trust in God. The road to the promise was not smooth, like he got to the special land that God had promised, but later God revealed another portion of the plan, that his descendants would not experience the promise fulfilled until another 400 years. But listen to God. I will keep my promise because I'm a promise keeper. Abraham embraced everything God said, including the fact that he and his wife Sarah, and I'm using her modern name, they were getting older. For the most part, Abraham did well in trusting God, apart from the moment he trusted himself and Sarah's brilliant suggestion. The idea was to give God a helping hand, have a baby by one of the household staff, Hagar, and that would take care of the descendants' promise. But that was not what God had in mind. Apart from that, Abraham put his total confidence in God. Oh, by the way, Abraham was wealthy and he had many chances to disregard this message of trusting in God. But the promise was fulfilled. That is too easy, you might argue. That is what Abraham did from the day he first heard from God. He put his whole trust in God. He placed total faith in God and God's word, and he experienced the promise totally. God directed his path. Is it easy to trust God? It is sure not easy, because to trust God is to trust God over trusting yourself. To trust God is to have faith in God that he will keep his promise to you. To trust God is to believe that God has a plan for your life, a plan to prosper you and not to harm you. To trust God is to stop trusting in other things and other people like your parents, the bank, the government, your employee. It is easy to trust your people, to trust those people because you can see and touch those people. But God is unseen. God lives in heaven. God is God. He has a lot to do, so let me trust me. I don't want God to forget me or to change his mind towards me and then I have to start all over. But the text is simple, my friend. There's no trick to it. You are not called to understand everything about God. You are not given all the details of your future. You are called to simply trust God, to lean on his promises, to believe totally in him. Here's the thing. God is God, and he cannot lie. That is something you have to accept. God is reliable. Over and over again, he proves himself that you can rely on him. God knows all things. He knows what is best for you. And might I add, God has been in this business of directing people's paths for a long time, so he has a ton of experience. To trust God is not a gamble. It is not like playing Wheel of Fortune or Russian roulette and hope to land on a great prize. To trust God is to recognize that you cannot do life without God because he is simply the best. My friend, it is not rocket science. Simply take God at his word and you can be sure he will not let you down. It is as simple as ABC. Trust in the Lord and he will take care of the rest.